Welcome back to another episode of Uncommon News. Today is April 8th, 2019, approximately 4:35, and we have a lot to talk about today. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different from normal. Normally we cover many topics that are going on throughout the world, but today I'm just going to focus on one. There's one headline that caught my attention, and it's regarding a fungus called Candida Auris. It's a yeast, and so I did quite a bit of research in the scholarly journals and articles and all of the medical research and scientific research that's been done on this in the last 5 years. I'm going to go ahead and present that to you today in today's episode. I'm going to summarize the information first, and I'll go ahead and put a summary in the description box below so that if you don't want to watch the entire video, you can go ahead and take a look at the links in the description box below. If you want to, this is going to be a long video. It's going to be probably about 20 to 25 minutes long. So if you want to view this video quickly, you can click on the settings button in the bottom right corner of the video. Go to the speed and increase the speed by 1.5 or 1.75 or 2. That should help you get through the video very quick and digest the information quickly. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and summarize all of the information to you in the beginning, and then I'll go ahead and open the web browser and show you where I got all this information, all the sources from. Everything that I write in here has a source link. Okay, so if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and you verify this stuff at the source. Okay, so C. auris, it's a fungus. Okay, it's a type of yeast, and it's about 50% survivability rate from what I've researched. The symptoms are fever, aches, and fatigue. They're seemingly ordinary, but when a person gets infected, particularly someone already unhealthy, such commonplace symptoms can be fatal. In order to identify it, C. auris can be misidentified by commercial identification systems such as Vitek2 and API-20C, but C. auris can be correctly identified by the MALDI-TOF using research-only database and by sequencing of internal transcribed spacer and D1, D2 domains. So that's probably not relevant to my audience. If there's someone out there that this is relevant to, then there you go. If you feel like you might have this fungus, then this information may be relevant for you to provide to your medical provider. This is the source for that. Okay, the disinfectants that work against this fungus is bleach, chlorhexidine, and iodine. Now this fungus can grow on your skin, on the outside of your body, and obviously on the inside it can affect your blood. So these disinfectants are good for topical use for yourself and for the surfaces of your home or medical facility. For medical facilities, these are the sources for that information right there. Disinfectants that do not work are ammonia and the ammonia wipes and UV lights. Now UV lights are typically used as like a step in for medical facilities to decontaminate rooms and stuff. So the UV lights don't work, and these are the sources for that. There are treatments for this. Some of the news articles do not cover this information. They're using it for clickbait, and so they try to make it seem as though there is no medication that you can get for it, but that's not true. The class of medications that work for this fungus are Echinocandins. It's a certain type of antifungal medication. And the three specific brands of Echinocandins that are very effective against this are Micafungin, Caspofungin, and Anidulafungin. Okay, these are the three products that currently are on the market that do a good job. Amphotericin B can be used, but it's not as effective. It's like 50%. I think it's actually less than 50% effective. And then fluconazole doesn't really work that well. And this is a quote from one of the articles down here. It says, in one collection of 54C Auris isolates from 5 countries, 93% were resistant to fluconazole, 35% were resistant to Amphotericin B, and 7% to Echinocandins. And these are the Echinocandins. So these are the best ones to get a hold of if you are affected by that fungus. And that's the source for that quote right there. So and some potential home remedies, and there is a source link to this, is colloidal silver in nebulized form for getting it into your bloodstream. And topically, colloidal silver also is effective topically. I should have put that on Disinfectants That Work. Matter of fact, I will go ahead and do that because there is a source for that. So I'll go ahead and add that to it. And I'll go ahead and put all this information in the description box below. And these are all of the links that are in the web browser today for today's episode. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the web browser for today. Alright, so the verse of the day is Psalm 143:1. As, O Lord, hear my prayer, listen to my cry for mercy, in your faithfulness and righteousness come to my relief. This is a New York Times article right here. Headline is a mysterious infection spanning the globe in a climate of secrecy. This is a very large article. Go ahead and take a look at it if you've got the time. They do cover a lot in this article. They cover, the germ fungus called Candida Auris preys on people with weakened immune systems. That's important because if you don't have a weakened immune system, you're likely not going to have to worry about this. It is quietly spreading across the globe. Over the last 5 years, it has hit a neonatal unit in Venezuela, swept through a hospital in Spain, forced prestigious British medical center to shut down its intensive care unit, and taken root in India, Pakistan, and South Africa. But it's also in the United States. So recently, C. Auris reached New York, New Jersey, and Illinois, leading to CDC to add it to a list of germs and urgent threats. It is a very prolific fungus. It spreads very easily, and it's hard to decontaminate. That's the main concern about this fungus, is that the typical methods that healthcare facilities use to decontaminate their buildings does not work against this fungus. So that's the main thing that they're concerned about is the decontamination methods. We're going to scroll down here, and it's antibiotics and antifungals are both essential to combat infections in people, but antibiotics are also used widely to prevent disease in farm animals. I'm sorry, that's not the right one here. Here we go. This is the thing that really concerns me the most, because this essentially hints that it may be worse than we're being told, or it may be worse than we know, because the healthcare facilities have not been reporting it. They don't have to report it. Outbreaks. So with bacteria and fungi alike, hospitals and local governments are reluctant to disclose outbreaks for fear of being seen as infection hubs. Even the CDC, under its agreement with states, is not allowed to make public the location or name of hospitals involved in outbreaks. State governments have, in many cases, declined to publicly share information beyond acknowledging that they have had cases. So it could be more widespread than they're even telling us now. And the map, there's a map down here where it, how it's essentially all over the world. There's another map that shows the places it's already been in the United States, and I'll see if I have that on here. Now, this is a prestigious journal, the Natural Product Reports, but it basically just tells you that the people at risk. It says, although superficial fungal infections of the skin and nails are common and are, for the most part, treated successfully with existing antifungal agents, serious fungal infections are becoming a growing danger for human health. Okay, so this is particularly true for AIDS patients, but also for recipients of transplants and users of anti-neoplastic agents, corticoids, and even antibiotics. So the main those group of people have the biggest concern here with this fungus. And here out of Oxford, there was this is a journal entry. Some research was done with managing patients and with C. auris. Essentially, let me see where I can find this graph here. Here's the graph. This is they tested different strands of the Candida with the different types of antifungal drugs. And this is basically a summary of the findings here. Most isolates are resistant to this drug right here, fluconazole. Some are resistant to Amphotericin B, and a small portion are resistant to Echinocandins. Echinocandins, it's a class of antifungals, and I listed the antifungals in the beginning of the video, so you can go back and look at that, or look in the description box below for the ones that are classed as Echinocandins. Okay, so this is the study that shows this information right here. Okay. Now, this was a case report out of Israel where they had two people. I think it was within 2 weeks of each other that both had Candida auris infection. And it is believed that the one that got it last got the infection because the first person that had it basically contaminated the hospital, and the second patient got the Candida from a contaminated surface. So the first patient was in South Africa, and he was involved in a car accident, and when they operated on him, he got a deep wound infection of the Candida, and it got into his blood, and he was passing it in his urine, and it infected it colonized the surfaces of the hospital, and what they found was that their disinfectants were not working against it. They found that C. auris was susceptible to Anidulafungin. That's one of the antifungals that they use to treat the patients, and it was susceptible to that. But they also found that environmental contamination appears to be a common mode of C. auris spread within medical facilities. They suspect that the cause for the two cases reported here, despite the time between them, was the disinfected surfaces, was the environment. The use of quaternary ammonia compounds, which are less effective than bleach for disinfecting equipment, might contribute to the persistence of Candida. So what they use to clean the hospitals is not effective at destroying the fungi. So and here's a report on some of the effectiveness of disinfectants against Candida auris. So what the news articles aren't telling you is they're not showing you all of the research that's been done against how to combat this fungus. They're just essentially trying to scare you to go to the articles continually for updates and click their advertisements. So whether or not this is fear-mongering, I don't know, but I'm trying to bring you guys relevant information so that you can actually be informed and stay on top of this and actually combat it if it does become pandemic or if there is an outbreak. I'm not qualified to give you this advice, but what I can do is show you these scholarly articles and the research that has already been done over the last 5 years regarding this. Okay, so this isn't new. It's been around for 5 years. Okay, the news is just now starting to talk about it. So Contaminated surfaces are a suspected source for dissemination of the Candida auris. In laboratory testings, sporicidal and improved hydrogen peroxide disinfectants were highly effective against C. auris, C. glabrata, and C. albicans. The widely used quaternary ammonium disinfectants exhibited relatively poor activity against all of the Candida species. So the ammonium it's not effective, so I wouldn't use it. I'm not going to use that. Okay. So here's more information on some of the surface disinfectants against this fungus. Okay. This is from Science Direct. Okay. Another research project that was undertaken. The emerging pathogenic multi-drug resistant yeast Candida auris is an important source of healthcare isolated infections and of growing global concern. Okay. The ability of this organism to survive on surfaces and withstand environmental stressors creates a challenge for eradicating it from hospitals. A panel of C. auris clinical isolates was evaluated on different surface environments against the standard disinfectant sodium hypochlorite and high-level disinfectant parasitic acid. C. auris was shown to selectively tolerate clinically relevant concentrations of sodium hypochlorite and parasitic acid in a surface-dependent manner, which may explain its abilities to successfully persist within the hospital environment. So I would not recommend using these two. Okay, these two types of disinfectants. Okay, at least not in low concentration. So some more disinfectants used for skin decolonization and for environmental decontamination. So this is both for using it topically on your skin and for decontaminating surfaces during a hospital outbreak. Okay, this is another research, more research that was done, and in the report was posted on Wiley Online Library. Okay, this is not just your typical news article. This is actual research that's been done. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can get to the stuff that's relevant here. Okay. So H2O2 vapor, which is hydrogen peroxide, showed a 96.6 to 100% effective killing of C. auris. So hydrogen peroxide. All isolates were inhibited by chlorhexidine, and for iodine, povidone iodine. So povidone iodine and chlorhexidine worked. Other species of Candida were also killed at 100 part per million chlorine, except this Candida, or 1,000 part per million. I'm sorry. So chlorine at 1,000 part per million is good against C. auris, but not this type of Candida. We concluded that chlorhexidine, iodine, chlorine, and peroxide demonstrate effective killing activity against C. auris at concentrations used in clinical practice. So, is this thing so serious that we don't have anything to kill it? No, it's not. We do have weapons to fight this, okay? And you probably have them in your medicine cabinet in your bathroom. Iodine and peroxide, okay? So here's the studies that show that, okay? I don't want you guys to freak out about this, okay? It could be serious, okay? It could be very serious. But there are things that we can do. Okay. Here's another study about disinfectants. Yeasticidal activity of chemical disinfectants and antiseptics against Candida auris. When tested in suspension, both a chlorine-based disinfectant and iodine-based skin antiseptics were effective against C. auris, suggesting that their use could reduce environmental contamination and skin colonization. So, what I didn't say earlier, this fungus can grow on your skin, okay? So what you would want to do if you are infected is take a bath. It's fully submerged. Now, I'm not supposed to give you advice. I'm not qualified to give you advice, but what I would do is take a bath fully submerged with some of these disinfectants that work. Probably iodine, maybe colloidal silver, as you will see in another tab here down the line. This one's from Science Direct again. Biofilm forming capability of highly virulent multi-drug resistant Candida auris. So this is from the government's website, United States National Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health. This, let me see what this was showing here. I'm sorry, I should have highlighted this. The use of this disinfectant. Okay. We showed that chlorhexidine is effective against C. auris. Okay, so chlorhexidine is effective. So this study essentially showed chlorhexidine was effective. They had also tested different types of drugs against this for, to treat blood infection. So you can go back on this website, and I'm going to leave the link in the description box below, and you can see the data relevant for the drugs that are effective against this. Okay. Relative resistance of the emerging fungal pathogen Candida auris and other Candida species to killing by ultraviolet light. So this report essentially shows that UV light does not work. So mobile ultraviolet light room decontamination devices are frequently used as an adjunct to standard cleaning in healthcare facilities, but their efficacy in killing Candida is not clear. In a laboratory testing, the emerging multi-drug resistant Candida auris and 2 other Candida species were significantly less susceptible to killing by UV than methicillin resistant Staphylococcus auris. So UV doesn't work, okay? According to this study here from Cambridge, that came out of Cambridge. Okay, now moving on to colloidal silver, and this is something that you can get at most healthcare stores. You can go and get 10 part per million, 30 part per million, 250, 500 part per million, whatever, and you can use this yourself. Personally, in order for me to get it in the bloodstream, what I do is put it under the tongue. And other people have used it in a nebulizer. Nebulizer is, you put it in and you breathe it in. And there have been cases where they've given it to patients in nebulizers, and it works. I'm going to go ahead and show you one of those articles here. Not against C. auris. They haven't tested it against C. auris, but against other things. Okay, so it is safe, according to the study here, according to the article. So. Okay, in this study, the antifungal effects of silver nanoparticles, nano-Ag, and their mode of activation were investigated. Okay, the results suggest that nano-silver may exert an antifungal activity by disrupting the structure of the cell membrane and inhibiting the normal budding process due to the destruction of the membrane integrity. The present study indicates nano-Ag has considerable antifungal activity, deserving further investigation for clinical applications. So, colloidal silver is one thing that you can get over the counter at a common health food store or one of those natural food stores. You can order it online. There's so many people sell it online. You can even make the stuff yourself. You can get a colloidal silver generator and make it yourself if you really want to. So that's one of the things I would be doing personally if this came around my neck of the woods. Okay, so silver colloidal nanoparticles, antifungal effect against adhered cells and biofilms of Candida albicans and Candida glabrata. So they didn't test this against Candida auris. This was in 2000. This was a study in 2011, and it was posted in this journal right here, the Journal of Bioadhesion and Biofilm Research. But they tested it against Candida. Okay, different types of Candida. So the aim of the study was to evaluate the effect of silver nanoparticles against these Candida cells right here. Okay. So let's see what it says. Furthermore, okay, so the MIC results showed that silver nanoparticles were fungicidal against all strains tested at very low concentrations. Furthermore, silver nanoparticles were more effective in reducing biofilm biomass when applied to adhered cells than to preformed biofilms, with the exception of this. Both cases showed a reduction, 90% regarding cell viability. Silver nanoparticles were highly effective on adhered C. glabrata, Candida glabrata and respective biofilms. On C. albicans, the effect was not so evident, but there was also a reduction in the number of viable biofilm cells. In summary, silver nanoparticles may have the potential to be an effective alternative to conventional antifungal agents for future therapy in Candida-associated denture stomatitis. So there you go. This is years old. It wasn't tested against C. auris, but I think I can extrapolate that it probably will be effective. Don't take my advice because the research hasn't been done with silver on Candida auris. So I want to put a big disclaimer on that. But me personally, I'm going to use it against C. auris internally if I have to. If it comes around, if it does become pandemic, you can trust that I will be putting it in a nebulizer and breathing it in to get into my bloodstream. I'll be putting it under my tongue. And if that doesn't work, God forbid if I have to, I'll use iodine. It's not, not preferable because iodine can mess you up if you take a lot of it. But if it can save, what would you rather have? Would you rather die in 90 days after getting this fungus, or would you rather have thyroid problems from having so much iodine in your system? Not a comparable trade-off to me. I'd much rather take the iodine and have thyroid problems personally, but don't just take my advice. Do the research for yourself. So this was a case report of a pre-teenage young boy who had a lot of asthma problems. He had a lot of breathing problems. This is out of the Journal of Royal Society for Medicine. Okay, prestigious journal. This was 2008. So this is not exactly associated with Candida auris, but I'm putting this article up there to show you that using colloidal silver in a nebulizer has been shown to be relatively safe because it was used in this 12-year-old boy, and it actually helped alleviate him of some of his symptoms. You can go ahead and read this whole case report yourself. I'm not going to do that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to essentially the summary of the case report, and it says he has remained well for a further 6 months after resuming colloidal silver with no other changes in his routine care. This is when he commenced the silver. So his parents were sick and tired of continually trying new medications, and you can read this in the case report. This is in the case report. And those medications were not having the desired effect. Okay, he just kept getting worse. And so they finally decided to do something on their own, and what they decided to do was to put colloidal silver in a nebulizer and have him breathe it in, and essentially it worked. It made him breathe easier, breathe better. He was able to do sports. He went skiing. He started going skiing. He started to play rugby. So it actually seemed to be good for him, with no serious side effects, no terrible side effects. Now it goes on to describe some of the possible effects and the lack of research done on colloidal silver toxicity. There's a lot of people that say it's toxic, but the research isn't really there to validate that. There hasn't been a lot of research to validate that. So what we do know is that it was used for quite a long time until penicillin was invented. And then it was kind of just, brushed off the shelves. But it is relevant, especially with C. auris. Yeah. So those are some of the scholarly articles I wanted to show you guys and share with you guys. I just wanted you to be aware of the effective medications against this, and just give you some more information that the mainstream media has not been giving you, because it seems to me like most of the stuff they're saying is just to get you scared, just to scare you. And so, just to recap, these are the disinfectants that work: bleach, chlorhexidine, and iodine. The drugs that work are Echinocandins, okay? And there's 3 of them: Micafungin, Caspofungin, and Anidulafungin, okay? I'm going to put this information in the description box below. If you like this video, if you appreciated this video, I put a lot of work into it. I would appreciate if you give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and hope you guys stay safe, okay? I'll catch you on another episode of Uncommon News. Bye.